Hey, it's Midthinker here. The brisket I'm smoking today is not the usual brisket you get from the store. This cut of meat came out of the package with a chunk of point missing that I wasn't sure what to do with. I was afraid this might not turn out well, but I'll show you how the final product came out and address some of the lessons learned from this cook. So let's get to it. Before getting into the trimming, let's get the seasoning out of the way. As usual, I'm using 2 parts coarse ground black pepper and 1 part kosher salt. I like this ratio because I can go heavy on the pepper for the bark without over salting it. Now it's stored in the shaker and set it aside. Trimming. This is where it got funky for me. From the store, this looked like a normal brisket, but as I was trimming my way to the point, I noticed I was missing a whole chunk of meat. This was absolutely a bummer on my end because the point meat is what I look forward to the most when I'm slicing up the brisket. I wasn't so happy about it, but I was committed to this cook, so I had to keep going. This brisket is by far the ugliest brisket I have ever trimmed. What I know now is that I will do a better job selecting a good brisket next time. Now it's time for some seasoning. 2 things to remember. 1, make sure to put a good amount of pepper for a good bark. And 2, cover the edges all around. I try to keep it simple so I stay away from using any binders and only go by the moisture on the meat. But there is no right or wrong way to cook the brisket, so feel free to use whatever you like. Now I have my smoker set at 200 degrees and I'll place this brisket in the smoker and smoke it overnight. The brisket was in the smoker for about 10 hours and the internal temperature is about 180 degrees. It is ready to be pulled from the smoker and ready for the foil boat. I'm using my good old regular size aluminum foil in 4 layers and rolling up the edges. Now the foil boat is done and the brisket is ready to go back into the smoker. Now I bump up the smoker to 250 degrees and I'll finish the cook when the internal temperature reaches 200 degrees. It took about 2 hours to get to 200 degrees. Now the brisket is done and ready for the next step, resting. Instead of placing the brisket in a cooler, I'm putting this in the oven at the lowest setting at 170 degrees. The brisket rested in the oven for about 3 hours. This has a good bark thanks to the black pepper and drizzle on some of the rendered fat onto the brisket. And let's dig in. For some reason, the flat was overcooked a little. It wasn't as tender as I like it to be. It definitely didn't pass the finger rest test. It does have a good smoke ring though. The pull test was also a no-go. I had to try a little harder to pull it apart. I was a bit disappointed in the result, but I could live with it when my critics at home gave me a thumbs up. After all, an overcooked brisket is still better than having no brisket. What I learned from this cook was that I do need to do a better job on making brisket selections. And the brisket may not turn out great, but that's a part of brisket journey, so embrace the bad result and move on to the next one. So don't be afraid to make mistakes and keep on going. If you enjoyed my video, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, check out my Instagram handle at MeatThinker. Thank you for watching and keep meat thinking.
Joseph, come here, buddy. Class? Joseph?
Here's the barbecue sauce. You want some? No. It's not hot sauce. I don't want it. It's all pork. It's pork.
Mm.